chocolates.
Oh, yes! Yes, yes, it is! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry, what did you say?
Furthermore, I am requested by this memorandum to stop the introduction of Tailepe and to punish severely all those involved in its introduction. In other words, the history has proved me right.
In a minute, Mr. P. Sorry, what did you say?
In other words, the history has proved me right. The way in which you seized the entire organization and forced Tailepe onto it cries for vengeance.
Thank you,
But
Maria. Sorry, what did you say?
I am a humanist, and my concept of directing this organization derives from the idea that every single member of the staff is human.
In a minute, Mr. P. Sorry, what did you say?
I place the struggle for victory of reason and moral values above peace both by their logic. And I will carry on the fight against all the misdeeds you've committed here. Miss Bells, kindly move out of my desk.
Havel.
I said move out of my desk.
But the trees
I'm sure they are. Move out of my desk.
I won't.
You will.
I won't.
You will. You will.
I won't. Okay, okay. Let's say after lunch.
After lunch is all right. I'm glad that you aren't putting any resistance.
I don't see why I should put up any resistance.
You mean you agree with me?
Of course.
Good gracious, how so?
I've come to the conclusion that Tailepe is all nonsense. I believed in it, but it was a mistake. Subjectively, we went well, but objectively, the effect was negative, and so now I must accept, whether I like it or not, all the severe consequences. In a minute, Mr. P.
You seem to have come to your senses.
I have.
Perhaps you were indeed sincerely mistaken.
I was.
How did you mean you will help me?
Are you quite sure you won't have another?
How did you mean you will help me?
Look, if you won't have one, I'll be hurt. I mean, as your deputy, of course.
The boss has misunderstood me. I said you will leave my organization.
You wouldn't take such drastic measures, would you?
I've made up my mind this time.
Come, come, I let you stay as my deputy.
That was different. Rightfully, I should have remained the director.
I know that too. Now.
Well, I've known it from the beginning.
It's always easy to be against a thing from the beginning. What is difficult is to be for a thing, even at the risk of getting your teeth kicked in.
That doesn't change by one iota the fact that you are the chief culprit. Here you will simply have to pack up and get out!
And if I won't,
You will!
I won't.
You will!
I won't.
You will!
I won't.
You
I won't.
will!
I won't. Okay, okay. Take it easy, all. Recognize. This. It is the supplementary order for the introduction of Tailepe, and, if I'm not mistaken, it was signed by you, not by me. I mean, you were managing director at the time, so who is the chief culprit here? In a minute, Mr. P.
I with the signature down here is nothing in comparison with what you've committed.
Trouble is, history knows such signatures.
You yourself got me to sign
I
it.
did.
Your hints
I
about...
wouldn't bring that up now if I were you.
Why not?
Because it's no extenuating circumstance at all. Just the reverse, in fact.
What are you talking about?
You see, all your errors, your banking stamp, your incoming memo, and the introduction to Tailepe are intertwined in such a way that one greatly multiplies the other.
All right. All right. Let's both resign.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't see why I should.
Would you seriously help me with everything?
Mr. Gross, I'm glad our conversation is at last reaching a realistic level. Of course I would.
You have a great deal of experience. You can work as stubbornly as you. But would you work against that?
I can't do things any other way.
But somebody has to get the X. You know how people are.
Leave that to me. Mr. P, we're ready. You may begin.
The delegation, which, under the leadership of Mr. P, comes to you consists of people who, until the very end, sincerely believed in Taidepe and were in the vanguard of its introduction. All the more difficult it is, therefore, for us, your loyal colleagues, to approach you now as a delegation whose mission it is to warn you against the consequences of any further propagation of Taidepe. It is precisely because we have done much for Taidepe we feel obliged to be the first to point out to you the insoluble problems connected with its establishment.
Friends, I know only too well, perhaps even better than you, how desperate is the situation we've reached at Taidepe, and, as your former managing director, I also accept the greatest share of blame for the whole affair. I've resigned as your managing director, and I pass on the position to the man who, I'm sure you'll all agree, is best qualified for it, Mr. Gross. I myself have received from him the position of his deputy.
What can I add? I'm not angry with you. I know you've meant well. So, let us lose no more words over it, because what is at stake now is the future.
We are sorry, but we cannot be satisfied with such a brief explanation. We threw our whole lives into the struggle for the wrong thing, and we want to know who is responsible and who took advantage of it. We were deceived, and we have the right to know who deceived us.
Will you answer this point?
Yes. We are all guilty.
Ugh, that is only a hollow phrase.
We want to know the actual persons, the names.
All right, I'll tell you. I'm sure you've all noticed that there has been, for some time now, prowling about our office a silent, mysterious man whose real function in our organization has never been known to us. I myself have come to know this man very well, as I've been under his direct surveillance. He pried himself into every nook and cranny, abusing your honest trust, averting from himself all blame by assuming the mask of a critical attitude towards Taidepe, when in fact it was his plan all along. Mr. C, come in.
Now then, let me conclude. What is at stake now is the future. And I appeal to you all to put all your best efforts into the re-establishment of the natural language.
Mr. Grass, I'm sure our colleagues are all tired by now. I suggest we all go have lunch together. Who's in favor?
That's an idea.
Bravo.
Let's all meet in quarter of an hour at the translation center.
Things do seem to be moving rather fast.
Mr. Gross?
There was nothing else I could do. An open conflict with Miss Bells and her men would have meant that I would be finished.
Mr. Cross.
This way, as the managing director, I can at least salvage this and that. Perhaps.
Mr. Cross.
Who knows? Perhaps Bells will be a good deputy after all. If I use her with intelligence.
Mr. Cross.
What is it?
Oh, can I get my lunch?
Run along. Why can't I be a little boy again? I would do everything differently from the beginning.